Tonight, an IT-made investigation is prompting Indiana to take the lead as one of few states in the country that will soon track concussions in kids who play sports.
Our chief investigative reporter Karen Hensel was on this issue before anyone else, and she takes you inside the big change.
Eric and Lori, when we asked schools in May to tell us what football helmets their kids wore and how many concussions they tracked that year, many people were surprised that a number of the schools that refused to respond declined to report to us concussion numbers. Well, we took that to the state, and that's not all.
From pint-sized players.
It's pretty heavy. I'm a small guy. Weighs me down a lot.
To high school players.
I don't want to get a headache. Don't want a concussion.
Kids know they're at risk for concussion. So do coaches. When IHSAA contacted Central Indiana schools, the majority wouldn't respond to disclose the number of concussions their players suffered. We took the issue to State Senator Jim Merritt, who wrote the Indiana High School Athletic Association asking for immediate help.
Great day to get better.
We got action. The Athletic Association reacted quickly and is working on a system to have every school report the number of concussions and their severity in all sports. But what about the helmets themselves? Our original investigation questioned the executive director of the group that sets the standards for helmet certification.
It's just so unbelievable to me as a mom that there's still no youth standard. None whatsoever.
What should it say?
NOCSE, the National Operating Committee on Standards for Athletic Equipment, has talked for 20 years about drafting a youth standard. What's taking so long? Dr. Steve Olvey is a neurosurgeon who has spent decades saving drivers' lives in IndyCar and now young go-karters.
We noticed that the helmets just didn't fit, and some of the crashes, the helmets would even come off.
It took him just a year and a half to develop a youth standard for kids in motorsports in 2006.
So why isn't there a youth helmet standard for football?
I can't answer that. It's beyond me.
Should there be?
Absolutely.
The racing industry, years ahead, already having a youth helmet standard.
I'm Zach Torres, and I'm 11 years old. I'm 9 years old.
These two brothers have been driving go-karts up to 150 miles an hour since they were 5.
I know that Dad has put a lot of time and effort into making sure that I have the right helmet. It protects you from getting hurt.
Olvey measured and weighed the heads of kids and researched every dimension of their faces.
And what we found is the length of a child's head compared to the length of the neck is very different than an adult. The skull is not as formed as an adult. It's softer.
Still, NOCSE told IHSAA the lack of data is part of the reason they still don't have a youth football standard. But
it's not that difficult, and most of the work's already been done.
There may be a standard soon. Since our report in May, Snell Memorial Foundation, which certifies helmets for racing and motorcycles, is now working to develop a standard for youth football helmets.
But still, the basic principles of the less weight and protection for kids' brains and the size or the shape of the helmet fitting kids' heads. Those are three things that are pretty easy to do.
Let's go, D.
Until it's sorted out off the field, some youth leagues like Fisher's Hamilton Southeastern are being proactive on the field.
Just watch it short.
They're one of the first youth leagues to hire an athletic trainer for 3rd through 6th graders.
When we look at how we can spend our money and not having a lot of money in our budget, we felt like that was a pretty high priority.
And since our report, the schools will start reporting the numbers to the Athletic Association in August. A Snell youth football standard may be ready in the next year or so. Until then, you can go to wishtv.com where we have all of our football helmet investigations in the last 3 months, plus the top questions that parents should be asking about their child's football helmet.